first one up. Alrighty, folks. The second quarterback competition has been officially completed. So now we're just waiting on the Saints and the 49ers. That's really the only two, and potentially the Patriots. We still little question marks over there. But we get the Broncos naming their starting quarterback, and they're going with, drum roll please, Teddy Bridgewater. Now, this was kind of our first initial choice. As soon as we saw Teddy Bridgewater leave Carolina, how disrespectful. We still don't like Matt Rule for that. But as soon as we saw Teddy Bridgewater leave Carolina to go to Denver, we were like, yeah, this guy's better than, Drew Lock. Drew Lock had his opportunities, folks. We have to remember that this was Drew Lock's job to lose. He was there the last 2 seasons. They rocked with him, or tried to rock with him the full year last season. Little injury kept him out of the full 16 games. But this was Teddy Bridgewater's job to earn. He had to come out there and prove that he could do everything better than what Drew Lock was doing for this Broncos team. And it seems like that's exactly what Teddy Bridgewater did. 2 preseason games in, and Vic Fangio said, hey, I've seen enough, because we have heard from Vic Fangio, the head coach of the Broncos, say, hey, this is probably going to go all 3 preseason games. Really most likely going to wait to the last possible minute I can to truly evaluate these 2 quarterbacks, and it only took 2. They both these quarterbacks got 1 star in each preseason game, and Teddy Bridgewater just looked the more consistent over the course of the 2 games. Why Drew Lock isn't kind of why you probably think Drew Lock should be the starter is because he has the highlight plays, and that's the only thing that really Drew Lock has. He has nothing of substance over the last 2 seasons with this Broncos team, but he's got some amazing big old plays, some big shots down the field. We know, he initially got, big in the media because of his first year with the Broncos, where he was dancing and rapping on the sideline. That got attention. So that's why maybe just, in the national media, that Drew Lock kind of had a favorable edge over Teddy Bridgewater, because you're seeing Drew Lock kind of be likable and personable. You see him make these 80-yard throws down the field, but every time he makes those highlight plays, folks, it's like at the end of the game, the 4th quarter, when he's already thrown 2 interceptions and hasn't gotten it done in the red zone, and they're down 14 points, 2 scores, 3 possession games. That's when you see that big highlight play where everything that Teddy Bridgewater does goes right under the radar. Folks, Teddy Bridgewater had a real good season last year, and it's just so frustrating because we love these type of stats. Now, we still have that one knock on Teddy Bridgewater. He was not putting up points on the board, and that is definitely something that you need to do in this league. But that is the only red knock, the only red mark that is on Teddy Bridgewater's kind of overall resume. He's not scoring the ball, and that's kind of goes for his entire career. Now, his career was, full of injuries. The man has only played really 3 full seasons in his 6-year career, the other 3 seasons being injured. So when we look at, his rookie year, 2014, he only threw 14 touchdown passes. His second year playing all 16 games, he only threw 14 touchdown passes. Now, that is a little alarming, but that is the only alarming thing. Everything else is really fantastic. His completion percentage is there. His yards should be there right now. Last season, he played 15 games through 3,700 yards. That's not bad for only 15 games. You add that 16th game in there, and, we're basically knocking at the door 4,000 yards. So that's exactly what we're talking about. The completion percentage has always been there from his rookie year, throwing 64%. He's a career 66% completion percentage guy. And folks, that is absolutely great. You can win with that stat right there alone. Now, the other promising thing is with these touchdowns that, could potentially be something really great here with the Broncos, because we know they have that great receiver core, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant at the tight end position. They've got weapons all over the field, and that's where Teddy Bridgewater can thrive in. Folks, I know I say this a lot, but Teddy Bridgewater made 2 1,000-yard receivers in Carolina last season. That is great. Able to spread the ball around, not just harping on one receiver or making one receiver have that 1,000-yard season and the others got like 5 and 500 here and there. Teddy Bridgewater will make these weapons work consistently. So another kind of check mark in the box of the overall quarterback competition here for the Broncos in Teddy Bridgewater's favor. So I do agree that we do need to see Teddy Bridgewater score the ball more. And, we were a little hesitant on Teddy Bridgewater because he was taking the checkdowns in preseason game number 1. But in preseason game number 2, when he went out there and was the starter for that preseason game, he was kind of pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. So maybe he's coming into this offense. What else do we got? Last season, the 69% completion percentage last season, folks, is absolutely amazing. He threw for 3,700 yards, like we said. The interceptions is a little bit high as well. 11 interceptions, especially when you're only throwing 15 touchdown passes. So we definitely need to cut down on the turnovers a little bit and extend those touchdowns because we need to put up points on the board. And Teddy Bridgewater, the good thing about Teddy Bridgewater is for this Broncos system is that all he has to do is be the game manager. They've got the great defense. Everybody is ranting and raving and really predicting this Broncos defense to really be a top 10, but really a kind of a top 5 defense in this league. They got nice pieces in the secondary. We'll see what Von Miller's looking like if he can kind of get back into his peak prime form. And then the offense, they've got weapons everywhere, folks. Jerry Jeudy is going to absolutely wreak havoc on this league. Going into, what do we got, to year 3 for Jerry Jeudy? So I got no problem with Teddy Bridgewater winning the starting job. I think it is the right decision. When we look at what Drew Lock was doing these last 2 years, you cannot win with 57% completion percentage in 13 games last season. That is so bad, folks. It's absolutely trash. That I got to call it what it is, folks. 57% completion percentage is trash, and I can never get behind you if you're throwing less than, honestly, I will never get behind you if you're throwing less than 60%. And I really want to see you minimum 62%, and then we can start buying into you. And that's just not what Drew Lock does. His accuracy's not the greatest. He's full of just highlight plays. We just saw it in preseason as well, folks. The only good he did was the big highlight plays that went 80 yards for a touchdown. Now, those are great plays. We're not going to knock those plays, but that's not sustainable. That doesn't win games, a la going 4-9 last season, and he went 4-1 his rookie year when he started 5 games, and that was great, but you had the entire year to get better, and you didn't. I really think that speaks a lot of volumes that this was kind of Drew Lock's job, and he kind of just lost it, not performing at the level that Teddy Bridgewater is at right now. And this was, out of all the quarterback competitions, this was really the only one that was true 50-50, giving both quarterbacks ample equal opportunities to go out and win the starting job. The Jaguars, that wasn't even a quarterback competition. We knew they were always favoring Trevor Lawrence. When we're talking about the 49ers, it kind of seems like it's kind of the same exact scenario. They're going with Jimmy G. They just got Trey Lance as kind of a backup insurance policy on that. The Patriots, that one could be a quarterback competition. They're still kind of saying it's Cam. We'll see if we see Mac Jones. The Saints, that is kind of a little bit of a 50-50 quarterback battle as well. I think, we heard, we don't know if it's true or not. We just heard that they were kind of favoring Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston. But what we just saw in preseason game number 2, I think that kind of went out the window. But from start to end, I think this quarterback competition was truly the hands down the only one that was true 50-50, giving both quarterbacks a true equal shot at winning it. And Drew Lock, he didn't win it, and he's been here. He knows the system for 3 years. Yes, he didn't have a training camp last season, but he had the entire season to get better, and he just didn't. He just didn't get better as the season progressed. He had this training camp and this offseason to prepare, and he still lost the job. So Drew Lock is still going to be on this team. I don't think they get rid of him. It's a good backup, and you could potentially develop him. We'll see, how he kind of handles taking a backseat approach this season, learning under Teddy Bridgewater, and you can learn some things under Teddy Bridgewater. Learn how to be accurate with the ball and not too ultra conservative. Hopefully Teddy Bridgewater doesn't give off that vibe here. We're really hoping that's not the case. And, we'll call him out on that. We've got no problems calling Teddy Bridgewater out on his kind of, dink and dunk and lackluster passing game at some points. I mean, we did it in preseason game number 1. It kind of left a real bad taste in our mouth. And we actually kind of thought that Drew Lock was kind of ahead after preseason game number 1. But then we saw preseason game number 2. Drew Lock once again wasn't doing anything. And then Teddy Bridgewater looked a little bit better. So we saw Teddy Bridgewater improving, where we saw Drew Lock kind of staying stagnant at where he is. And that just kind of, once again, this is Drew Lock. It doesn't really see him getting any better. It's kind of seeming like Drew Lock is maxed out at his NFL kind of talent. But learning under Teddy Bridgewater for a year, taking the backup role, developing, trying to get better, just being, in the offense without being the offense. And we'll see how he learns that on. But it doesn't, there's no reason to get rid of Drew Lock now. He's still under his rookie deal. You'll have him next season. And, he will be able to kind of maybe potentially fight for a starting job next season. Maybe try to rival Teddy Bridgewater again come next training camp. So, this isn't the end of Drew Lock, and we'll see if he can kind of get a little bit better as he progresses. Everyone loves to kind of sit quarterbacks. No, I mean, people, we got Justin Fields. People are saying, oh, sit him. Oh, Trey Lance, sit him. Don't start him. Why start him? People are saying sit Trevor Lawrence because you don't want him to get injured because the offensive line is so trash. But people are upset that Drew Lock can't get the starting job. Let Drew Lock sit. The man is still young. He can still get it done. No, y'all want people to sit. I don't want to see rookies sit. No. You are out there. We drafted you. You are out there. Sink or swim. That's not my problem. That's your problem. And, I want you to swim. Obviously, I don't want to see anybody sinking out here. But sink or swim. Go get it done. No more coddling. We're in the NFL. We're all men, grown men. Go out and beat the other grown men out there. So Drew Lock, I just don't have that much faith in him. And I think Vic Fangio made the right decision. We can go into this article and see what Vic Fangio was truly saying when he named the starter, and how hard was it? Was it difficult? Was it easy? What was it looking like to make this decision? So let's just quickly go into this article and see what Vic Fangio and people were saying. So here we go. The Denver Broncos quarterback competition has produced a starter. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio informed his team that Teddy Bridgewater will be the Broncos starting signal caller in Week 1. The team announced Wednesday. Let's quickly. I want to go back to the last time we kind of took a screenshot of what the odds were for the starting quarterbacks, because it kind of seemed like was Drew Lock even, well, Drew Lock wasn't even on here, so you couldn't have bet this last week, but I believe when it was on there that Drew Lock was like minus like 185, I believe. Teddy Bridgewater maybe like plus 180. About who's going to be the starting quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater wins it. So Vegas unfortunately lost a little bit of money there. All right, but let's keep going here in the article. Bridgewater battled incumbent starter Drew Lock through training camp in the first 2 weeks of the preseason, throwing a touchdown pass in each of the first 2 games. After Lock's impressive performance in a blowout win over Minnesota, the third-year player regressed against Seattle last weekend, completing 9 of 14 passes for 80 yards and a pedestrian pass rating of 79.5%. And once again, that's what we're saying. He didn't have the big highlight play against Seattle in preseason game number 2, so nobody even knows his performance. You only know Drew Lock's performance over Minnesota because I believe he had like 2 80-yard bombs or something like that. KJ Hamler just getting open on himself. That's kind of more on KJ Hamler. We give credit for Drew Lock of delivering an accurate ball, but at the end of the day, it's KJ Hamler getting free wide open. And once again, Drew Lock played with the starters in Minnesota. He didn't play with the starters in Seattle. So once again, he's not able to kind of elevate the tier 2 players on your team. But Teddy Bridgewater was, because he looked good in preseason game number 1 where he was playing with the 2. So once again, it's just unfortunate for Drew Lock here. All right, Bridgewater, meanwhile, shined against the Seahawks, completing 9 of 11 attempts for 105 yards and a 2-yard touchdown pass to KJ Hamler, the man making everybody look good out here. Quote here by Vic Fangio. Let's see what he had to say about this. Here we go. Quote, there wasn't a lot of separation. And folks, I mean, after preseason game number 1, we said it was kind of 55% Drew Lock, 45% Teddy Bridgewater in our eyes. And then after preseason game number 2, we said it was kind of truly neck and neck at 50-50 because Teddy Bridgewater earned those 5% points right back when he was a starter in week 2 preseason game. So it was truly neck and neck according to us. And Vic Fangio says, hey, there wasn't a lot of separation. Real close call right here. Once again, pointing back to a true quarterback competition. Let's continue on with the quote here by Vic Fangio. Quote, both guys had good camps. They both played well. Both had their down moments. Both had their good moments. Thought it was good overall for both of them. We just made this decision. We think it's best for the team right now moving forward. We have 2 good quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks we can win with. Unfortunately, you can't play with 2. And that is truly it, folks. You get 1 quarterback, throw him out there, hope he wins. And, this is still, Teddy Bridgewater can't take this for granted. Teddy Bridgewater can't just be like, oh, okay, now I'm the starter, so I can kind of, be lackluster and still take the checkdowns every single play and not stretching the field vertically and not putting up any points. Come week 5, 6, if this Broncos team is, gosh forbid, 0-5, 1-4, 2-5 after 7 weeks or whatever it is, whatever the math turns out to be, if Teddy Bridgewater's not getting it done, I don't think this Broncos team would have any problem going to Drew Lock, the kind of, he's got that fire lit under him. Oh, y'all benched me, and now you need me to step up? Yeah, let me go and show y'all how it's done, and kind of make you say, hey, we kind of made the wrong decision at the beginning of the season. So this is still potentially, Drew Lock could potentially still play this year, folks. I don't think that's out of, the question or the realm of thinking here with what the Broncos are kind of thinking. They know they are just kind of a quarterback away from being a great contending team for a nice playoff spot. I don't know if they'll be kind of Super Bowl contenders right now, but I definitely think, it's playoffs or bust, definitely for this team. So Drew Lock should definitely still be, ready to rock when his time comes, if his time comes this season. And if not, teams will need quarterbacks next season, and we'll see what the Broncos do. We already know there's probably going to be an opening with the Steelers. And if you impress, work your way up a little bit more, learn, get better, you're back again next season at the same spot fighting for a starting role. And there's only 32 jobs. It's hard to be named a clear-cut starter for a team. And if, Drew Lock can kind of get better, I think that's pretty gosh dang good. To be able to kind of compete every year for a starting job at the quarterback position, that's pretty solid. All right, let's finish up this article very quickly. Here we go. As Bridgewater moves into the starting job, Lock is going nowhere. As NFL Network's Jane Palmer reported Wednesday that the Broncos believe he can still develop and have no intention of trading the former second-round pick. Yeah, no, there's no reason to trade this man. He's still under his rookie deal. He's cheap as heck being a second-round pick, and you've got him for 2 more years. Yeah, definitely develop him. He's shown some good things. He's got a big arm. He's got a huge, strong arm. He, honestly, I'm going to say it. We know Aaron Rodgers has a big arm. I'm saying Drew Lock's kind of has a little bit of an Aaron Rodgers arm. He does. He can launch that thing. He can let it sling and let it fly. So, if you can just develop a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more of the, kind of taking the true gunslinger. This man is a true gunslinger. You kind of, get that under wraps a little bit. We obviously don't want to change what Drew Lock is, because if you do that, he's not going to be good. He's not going to be any good. You can't change the throwing of what these quarterbacks are. You just have to kind of tweak and adjust, simple, slight adjustments, so he's not just letting it rip every play, trying to hit the home run ball every play. It's a process, slow and steady. The turtle always beats the hare. Drew Lock just settled down a little bit, and maybe he can learn that under Teddy Bridgewater, because Teddy Bridgewater is kind of the ultimate kind of cool, calm, collected under pressure, a little bit of a more dink and dunk style than, the gunslinger that Drew Lock is. So there is still hope for Drew Lock. Let's not, a lot of people are upset that Drew Lock doesn't have this starting job for whatever reason, but, relax, he'll be fine. All right, back to the article. Here we go. Bridgewater's superior performance appears to have helped Fangio make a decision on a starter with 1 week of the preseason left to play. With 6 NFL seasons under his belt in stints with the Vikings, Saints, and Panthers, Bridgewater brings more experience to Denver's offense, and he'll be the man to lead the unit into the 2021 season. Quote here by Teddy Bridgewater: it was very exciting. I'm just happy that I get an opportunity, happy see that I get to just continue to lead. And that is truly that. I mean, he's unfortunately had, a rough start to his career, 3 seasons of not playing, working his way up. And I think that's what's great about the Teddy Bridgewater story. I mean, he worked his way up. He was, with the Saints, folks. He was sitting behind Drew Brees. No way he plays. But, Drew Brees got injured. Teddy Bridgewater made every single moment of that opportunity during that, 5-game stint? 5 starts with the Saints, won every single one of them. Folks, this was great. A 5-game stretch at 69% completion percentage, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So once again, Teddy Bridgewater has shown he can get the job done. That's a fantastic stint, and that Saints team was a real good team. They had a real good offense in 2019. And once again, this Broncos team has a real great offense in 2019. When we look at just kind of a little bit of a shortcoming last season, folks, it was Carolina when they had no running game because there was no Christian McCaffrey, and you had a year 1 head coach in Matt Rule, but they were still able to manage 4 wins. I don't think that was a bad year. I think it's a real solid, buildable year given all the circumstances that was going on in Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater's year 1, first time. Matt Rule there, year 1, never been a head coach in the NFL before, and you're missing Christian McCaffrey, the face of the franchise of the Panthers, and you still put up 69% completion percentage, 3,700 yards in 4 games. I don't think it never got blown out. I really think that was kind of a very tad, it's like on the borderline of a successful year, folks. So we got to give Teddy Bridgewater for that. I believe this man can still get it done. He's made the most of every single opportunity that's been presented to him, and now he's back getting another shot at being the starting quarterback. He definitely needs to take advantage of this, though. We're not giving we're not going to be giving Teddy Bridgewater a free pass. We're not going to be like, well, he won the starting job, and if he doesn't do good this season, well, he still has next season. No. We have to see some things get cleaned up, scoring the ball. If he's still not scoring the ball, we may just have to kind of cancel Teddy Bridgewater for the rest of his career, whatever it is. I don't think he'll probably get another shake at a starting quarterback job if he doesn't really prove it this year. The Broncos will move on. They'll draft a quarterback. They'll try hard for Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater can really find another home if he doesn't kind of excel this season. So this is still a huge pressure situation for Teddy Bridgewater. We're definitely rooting for the man, but it's like, we're not giving him any free passes out here. All right, so that's what Vic Fangio and people had to say, and then we get Drew Lock, being classy. We like to see this, as always. Drew Lock, quotes here, obviously it's disappointing. He said he is confident. He said he is confident as he's ever been in his game. So once again, this quarterback competition kind of pushed him and made him even better. So once again, Teddy Bridgewater can take Drew Lock can take some things away from this quarterback competition. And then the last quote here by Drew Lock, quote, "No finger pointing, no negativity. It's about me still finding ways to help make this team great." And that is a huge quote right there. Love hearing, players say that not starters. Hey, there's still a role for you to fill here. You still have to kind of still be looking good in practice just in case Teddy Bridgewater starts slipping, starts getting a little bit too complacent in this game. Drew Lock can still be waiting in the wings if he continues to progress through the regular season, still practicing and getting it done. So Drew Lock, when his time comes, we know this man's going to be locked and ready, and we hope he makes the most of the every single opportunity, just like Teddy Bridgewater did with Drew Brees in that Saints that 1 year. He made the most out of the opportunity, and now 2 years later, he's starting for another team. Drew Lock could potentially do the same here, so we'll see what the season holds for this Broncos team and these quarterbacks. And then let's quickly end on this. Let's all not pretend that we all knew Teddy Bridgewater was the favorite, and now, hindsight, of course we knew it was Teddy Bridgewater. Well, we actually did here at Takes by Fans. We did call Teddy Bridgewater. We've been championing Teddy Bridgewater throughout the entire thing. But I see y'all on Twitter. I see y'all online. I see what y'all say. Okay, folks, you can't hide your takes from me, hide your opinions from me. A lot of people were like, oh, it's Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater's trash, and why didn't they draft a quarterback in this year's draft? Why did they go with Teddy Bridgewater? Why did they bring him in? He can't do it. He's always injured. He can't get the job done. It's Drew Lock. I heard y'all. I saw y'all. But now everybody wants to pretend, oh, of course we knew it was Teddy Bridgewater. Not so fast, y'all. So this guy on Twitter, Jordan Schultz, what is his? He's an insider analysis at ESPN. Oh, big time. But he says this tweet here. Teddy Bridgewater getting the Broncos job was always going to happen. Okay. He played great against Seattle and has set the tone in camp exactly the way Vic Fangio expected. One scout told me last week Teddy has more velocity on his ball and has been the clear-cut QB1 ahead of Drew Lock. So, yeah, hindsight's 2020. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of people big on Teddy B besides us. So, we'll leave it at that. So that's the Denver's quarterback for week 1, folks. Denver Broncos fans, I hope y'all are happy. I think this is the right decision, and hopefully Teddy Bridgewater truly proves it's the right decision by winning games consistently this season. Hopefully we can bet on them a couple of times, maybe get some good points, some great value. Y'all know we love that great value, and hopefully we can bet on Teddy Bridgewater, and we can both win. Teddy Bridgewater wins on the field, and we cash in at the casino with some green in our pocket, right? So we'll keep an eye on the Broncos this entire season.